The views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the staff and management of WWDB-TV. The views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the staff and management of WWDB-TV.
Booyah! We are back, and it is the 4th of July edition of Southern Nevada Sports News coming to you from WWDBTV.com. My name is Bill Miller, co-host along with
Jeff Belknap.
And we hope that if you're watching us or listening to us live, you want to get this out of the way and get ready for your barbecue and whatever you're going to do, and cutting up. But we are doing it so that we can go about our business and
our barbecue
and cutting up. It just makes sense. I'd like to thank our manager and host and owner, John Stiles, for allowing us to come in, tape the show early. Thank you very much. Because I think he, too, wants to go out and barbecue and cut up.
That's right.
Yeah, he's giving us a big thumbs up. So it has been a crazy week. We're in right now just about midstream for Major League Baseball. In fact, the All-Star break is coming up in 2 weeks from yesterday, July 17th, in the nation's capital, Washington, D.C. Where an All-Star game actually means something. I mean, there's a carrot at the end of the stick. It's also World Cup time, and we are in the knockout stages, so we're going to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah.
And then at the bottom of the hour, we're going to be joined by our man in Atlanta, the NBA guru himself, Torrance Hall. And so we're going to save, obviously, the obvious for when he's on, because it is free agent frenzy in the NBA once again. So listen, my man, we are... as I mentioned, we are just about the All-Star break for Major League Baseball.
Yep.
And now finally, some of these networks, ESPN and a couple of these other clowns, will start mentioning baseball, but alas, they really haven't quite gotten around to it.
Well, I think the majority of what they do is get like a little 2 minutes, talk about the Yankees for a couple minutes, and then
and Boston,
mention maybe the Dodgers are still narrowly hanging on to first place, or actually out of first place at this moment. But I'm watching the trend of what's happening in sports, and I'm really glad that we've kind of picked the niche that we have, which is basically focusing on the prep, talking a little bit about the pro, just because we both are interested in it.
Here.
But these guys are relentlessly talking about a sport that's not even being played right now.
Yeah.
Relentlessly.
Yeah.
And I've really lost so much interest in the NBA. Even throughout the finals, I didn't watch one finals game.
Neither did I.
I watched a couple games during the playoffs, and most of it was because I wanted to see Philadelphia win.
Yeah.
Because that's the only team I'm really rooting for. And Philly's won enough, with Villanova and the Eagles winning, but I was still kind of rooting for the Sixers. But the belaboring everywhere you listen, to a point where, I listen to a lot of sports radio. I just enjoyed, hearing and listening and talking about sports. I lost interest. I would literally turn it on, which is probably good, because I got a couple good sermons on. I put it on the Christian radio, and got to hear something different.
Yeah, a little.
I'm sure the Lord appreciated that.
And a little words of encouragement. Get your spirit up.
That's right.
For what you got to tangle with during the day.
Yep, exactly.
I get that, absolutely. But listen, man, I could not agree with you more. It is become, particularly with ESPN.
Yep.
Fox Sports, yeah, absolutely as well. But because Fox Sports is actually handling World Cup duty, they haven't been leaning that heavy as on the NBA. The fact is, folks, this season is over. We all knew what was going to happen, and I predicted that it would be, LeBron 24/7. Once the season went over and they lost, and indeed that's what took place. Where's he going to go? Where's he going to go? Thank God he made a decision on the very first day or very first minutes.
Yeah, within I think it was the second day.
And got that over with. Sort of thought then that maybe they might kind of meld into, there's some big free agents out there, in that. But we're going to touch basis on that in the
we'll
second half hour of that. But I think you sense our frustration. And here, even in Las Vegas, it's tough to get a lot of really prep coverage. We have some colleagues of ours, 702, HSF, yeah, high school football. Yep. They, and we cover a lot of local prep sports, and because we live here, and two, this is a very small community.
Oh, absolutely.
And you'd be surprised, really, when you've heard the term 6 degrees of separation. Indeed, it happens here in Vegas more. It's probably even a little bit more nuclear than that. But
small town, 2 million people.
Absolutely, but we encourage these young people to come in, and it's great to meet them. It's great to meet their families. And at the same time, we try to reach out also to the young men and women who, are kind of think that, it's a cakewalk. And I think to have these young people come on and talk about just how much work they put into it, not just on the field, but also in the classroom, that is going to be your key to your next step, if you wish to continue playing that particular sport.
I can tell you this, like this month, I'm trying to load up as many guests as we can get, because when school starts, it changes everything. The practices go in. It's harder to get a hold of coaches.
Yeah.
But the exciting part of it, the season's going to be starting a little bit early, which is kind of bad for the Heat because it's going to be hot those first few games.
Oh, yeah.
But there's some explosive football games. I mean, when you look at the high school football schedule in Vegas, most of these teams are playing out of state teams where – you still looking at in the Midwest, they're playing like the C opponents, just to kind of get some games in.
Yeah.
These guys out here are playing the A opponents,
yeah.
To get some experience in. And I think that's going to ultimately separate the level of kids that come out of here. And already we saw 70-something D1 scholarships in high school. And I think it'll be in the couple of hundreds by the time we get to next year. You're talking about these, the girls basketball players going. You're talking about, kids basketball players going. It's just exciting time to be in Vegas sports.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in a town the size of Las Vegas, we have 32 high schools.
Yep.
So you are never far away from any high school. And as we always encourage locals here, get behind any one of the local high schools here. Go out, support them. They have to work their asses off in order to generate funding for their programs. So, once Friday night lights start, get out to a football game, buy a few hot dogs and a couple of Cokes, sit back, enjoy these kids grinding it out, and it's absolutely for a good cause, and you're going to see some exciting football.
Well, I mean, a lot of that money goes to the school, though. If you really want to help the football program, if you have a business, buy a banner.
Yeah.
Hang a banner up at the stadium. Go buy raffle tickets when they're doing stuff for the game.
Yeah. Buy 50-50 tickets. But that's actually, you're absolutely correct. That's going to generate money actually to the program itself.
Yeah, exactly.
As opposed to Clark County School District or the high school and Clark County School District. No bad rap against CCSD.
But split yourself in half and save yourself some aggravation.
So, we are knee-deep in Major League Baseball.
Yep.
Yeah? And there are some absolutely big surprises in the standings. And I don't think there's any surprise in terms of, let's start with the American League.
One of the best teams,
the East. And actually, literally the 3 best teams in baseball are in the American League.
Yeah.
And 2 of them are in the East. The Boston and New York, the Evil Empires are duking it out. Where, in effect, Tampa Bay, who's in 3rd place, is 14 games behind.
Yep.
One game
over 500.
And over 500, and 14 games behind. And I think this is a 2-horse race, and I'm going to call that one, unless something really shockingly happens. Boston and both teams are playing, very well, not just at home, but also on the road.
Yep.
In fact, Boston has won more games on the road.
They have,
than they have at home.
In Fenway, yep.
Yeah, and not exactly. I think we actually saw those 2 teams doing well.
Oh, there's no doubt. I mean, when you go back to our preseason show, the American League, it was kind of like who's going to be in the NBA Finals.
Yeah.
We knew it was going to be between those 2 teams. Houston was obviously going to be up there.
Absolutely.
That was pretty much a given. We talked about the Cubs. We talked about Washington. We talked about the Dodgers, Diamondbacks. That division was very competitive last season, where I think they ended up with 3 teams in the playoffs.
3 teams
from the same division.
Yep.
So, I think it's playing out exactly to what we saw, but except for the Mariners.
Yeah, they are the surprise. So when you swing around to the American League West, which was not that competitive last year.
Do you notice we skipped the Central on purpose?
Well, I wanted to save that because that's a division that's near and dear to your heart. So I figured
really.
I'd save that one last and we have a particular bet going.
Yeah, I'm ready just to pay up now, unfortunately.
That's not. Listen, I'm up for it at any time. But let's wait. Because,
just in case.
Just in case.
Yeah, as soon as you win that 63rd game, then you're set. Which
I'm set.
It's not as good of a pace. You were on a better pace a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. Well, still, it's it's doable.
Yeah.
And I'm counting on them to come through. Ye have so little faith. The American League West, we've got Houston, who is not slowed down in any way, shape, or form from last season.
Yep.
Again, it's just a really talented team. In the field, at bat, and certainly on the mound. And they've, they're at 56 games now. And again, another team that's one more on the road than they have at home. So they play solid whether they're either at home, on the road. They know how to win series.
Yeah.
And that's why their record is as it is. Then, really the surprise to me of the American League, Seattle Mariners.
Yep.
They actually have 55 wins. They're only half a game back. From a red-hot Houston
team.
If
I remember correctly, I think George said something about the Mariners.
Did he?
Yeah, he actually put them up there. I know we all had Texas.
We have to give the prognosticator his
due. That's right. I know that we all had Texas in last place in that division, but I'm pretty sure that he mentioned the Mariners because of the pitching staff.
Well, they are playing lights-out baseball right now. And, again, one of the real surprise teams. At least as far as the the so-called experts are concerned.
Yeah, it's good to see.
And absolutely. And you've got Oakland, 8 games above 500 in third place.
Which is not bad.
8.5.
Yep.
Here's a surprise: the Angels. I really thought the Angels were going to be a much better team.
You think?
I thought that they were going to challenge.
So
Houston
here's a question for the Angels: When do you start farming out your all-star, your best player in the major leagues? And really get some meat for a young player that where you could probably get 5-6 players. I
don't think they could do it. I think the fans would absolutely go nuts.
Do you think that their fans are showing up as it is? I've seen a couple of the games and the highlights where it's been pretty thin.
Yeah, and now that Ohtani's not pitching, you do have a certain. There was a lot of momentum going on, a lot of fascination with this young man when the season first started because not only was he pitching great, he was hitting at the same time. Now he's not pitching. At least they can put a bat in his hand.
The guy batted at like 400 in his last league.
So it's, but I just don't get it. And again, there was so much, I think, fascination with this Angel team that they were actually going to be able to do all of the things with the talent that they have. It's not like they had to reach out and get bats. They had people who could hit. And, of course, Trout is an absolute superstar. But I think that, that right now might be the only thing that keeps this Angel team and the population in Anaheim at least motivated is Mike Trout.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt about it. But, at some point as the GM, don't you look at it as, here we are, 5 or 6 years into his career, haven't done anything as an organization any of those years.
Right.
Maybe one competitive year, and that was like when they were a 500 team.
Yeah.
But sub 500 many years. At some point, one player is really not going to make a difference. Do you look for some more pitching? Do you look for?
I don't think you start with Trout. And as much as I'm Mike Scioscia, I remember you behind the plate,
absolutely.
Your white's a Dodger blue, and you'll always be a Dodger to me. But it's time for Mike Scioscia to go.
Could be.
Listen, with all of the money and with all of the players, not just forget Trout. Let's just go back to all of the free agents that they have put at this guy's disposal. And I know they're kind of hanging on to the fact that he did bring a championship to Anaheim. What have you done for me lately? Unfortunately, I think it does, fall back on the Charles Barkley monkey theory.
Yep.
And he's got something on the Angel ownership, and that's the only. But I don't think you start with Trout. I think that you keep Trout, and I think you keep adding pieces to the puzzle. It may take a couple of more years, but this guy has got a lot of legs left in him and a lot of baseball.
Oh, of course. That's why I think this is the time you shop him.
Yeah.
But okay, so
if you're a GM, do you really want to keep your job? You want to make that deal?
I know
and
that if
get fired?
I know if I'm going to get fired, I might do the deal.
You might make the deal.
But okay, so to the Central, Bill and I obviously have a dinner at Golden Steer.
Woo! Where there's no losers, by the way.
That's a win-win
Whoever
situation. Golden
wins the
Steer,
bet.
if you haven't been there before,
Win-win.
definitely check it out. It's been there for like what 60 almost,
plus years, yeah,
almost 70 years. So every time I follow them on Instagram, and every time I see the lamb chops that they post, I'm like, I cannot wait for this.
Just to go down.
This is going to be great. But we bet obviously that Detroit would lose 100 games.
Yeah.
They've lost 49 games so far.
Okay, and if you're just joining us, Jeff, of course, is from Detroit.
I'm a Tiger fan.
It's not that I believe they will lose 100 games. It's he believes
I
they
believe
will
that
lose
they will
100
lose 100 games.
I believe they will not. I believe they will lose less, a lot less
Okay,
than 100.
so going into this, I really thought that there would be a better Central Division. Like, I didn't foresee Detroit being 9 games under 500 and being in second place in the division. You know, I mean, in my mind, I'm having a hard time grasping that, knowing that these other teams are so terrible. KC, Chicago, and Minnesota. Minnesota is surprisingly a playoff team last year.
My family in Kansas City, they're just throwing their hands up. I mean,
what did they win? 25 games? And the funny thing is, I think they were at 25 games last week when we were on the show.
yeah, it's,
so they didn't win this past week, just so you guys know. But
yeah, they're 2-8 in their last 10.
Yeah, so I'm watching these Tiger games, and I see up 4-0 in the first, up 3-0, up 3-1. You know, early on, and they just completely come apart.
Just can't hold that lead. Yeah,
and that's if you look at all the games this week, it happened every day this week. They were up 4-0 to Toronto. They lost the game 6-4. They were up 3-0 the day before. They lost the game 5-3. Yet yesterday they went up on the Cubs. The Cubs come back, score a couple of late home runs, end up winning the game 5-3. I don't know. I just at some point you just have to look at, like, you know, why are you doing this for? And you know, if you're not doing it to win games, man, then just, you know, concentrate on your farm system and move forward. But whatever.
Yeah.
But shocker in the National League. Any shockers to you? I can tell you mine. Atlanta Braves.
The entire National League West. This was one of the best divisions in baseball last year.
Yep.
As you mentioned earlier, 3 teams ended up making the playoffs. And the Dodgers my beloved Dodgers started out so slow.
They went
luckily,
horrible. They turned it around.
Everyone else didn't exactly start off like a house on fire. So, as we stand now, we've got Arizona in first place, and the Dodgers 1.5 games back.
Yeah, 2.5 back.
You know, and San Diego at 37-50, only 11.5. And again, I think it's because it's at best a mediocre division.
Yeah.
This is a kind of a shining example where no team is really officially out of it, where you can sit there and say, you know, Kansas City, you can say they're done.
Yep.
I'm calling that one.
Well, worst team in the majors at this point. So.
Yeah. But it's you know, the Dodgers in the last you know, I think probably 10 games or so, they began to reeling. In fact, it was really the month of June where they kind of settled down and weren't losing every single series. And the bats have started to heat up. You know, the other night, I mean, they put 17 runs on the board.
Yeah.
I mean, and in one game last week, they had 7 solo home runs. So things are really heating up. I'm glad to see that. And because at this time last year, it was just like, you know, the Dodgers' loss was more of a news than, you know, the Dodgers.
They win. What did they win? 20-something games in a row? I can't remember what it was. 25 in a row.
So they were. To me, this is a baseball team that, you know, I was really excited last year, but I'm a Dodger fan.
Yeah.
I'm always going to be a fan. Win, lose,
well,
or
I mean,
draw.
this is where I'm at. Just any time this season. The season's so long that if you can stay within 4 or 5 games,
that's it.
That could turn in a week.
Yeah.
You know, we've seen it happen before where teams are up 6-7 games in the last week of baseball and end up losing a division. Yeah. So, you know, it's basically just try to stay there. Just try to be close.
Keep being within, you know, sniffing around, you know, being close. Win a series here, win a series there, and kind of hope someone else is doing the same thing to your opponent.
Oh, absolutely. So the Central, the NL Central,
yep,
pretty much what we projected between Milwaukee and the Cubs.
Yeah.
And, you know, St. Louis is always going to hang around.
Always.
You know, they're always going to be in the division. What about the East, though?
I
think that the Braves are trying to pay for their stadium. What do you think?
I'll say this: the Braves, Atlanta is the surprising team of the National League.
Absolutely.
You have Seattle of the American League. It's Atlanta. This is a team that has just not done well over the last 5, 6, 7 years.
They lost 100 games a couple years ago.
And, but now they find themselves now with Atlanta, is it a case of Atlanta being a very good team or the fact that they're dealing with a lot of really shitty teams? And starting with, of course, the Mets, which I think everybody thought was going to be a much better team.
Yep, true.
And and they're another team that's having a lot of trouble with fans showing up for games. I mean, New York, let's face it, that. The second surprising team would be the Phillies.
Yeah.
Because I think everybody just thought it was going to be another bad Philly year.
Baseball, unlike a lot of other sports, really relies on their farm system.
Oh,
because at any
absolutely.
point somebody could get injured, and then that farm system has to pick up. And I hate to say it, but the farm system for the Mets is not that great of a team either. They don't really have any superstars that anybody from Las Vegas would actually go to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, you basically go to Las Vegas 51 games because you want to get outside and maybe it's dollar beer
have
night.
a couple of hot dogs and have a couple of beers.
I mean, it's a great place to watch this stadium, and the
Very
new
much so.
place is going to be much better. I mean, I drive past it all the time. It's right next to City National Arena in Summerlin, and I see the progression, and it still blows me away because it's going to take a year and a half more to build a Raiders stadium.
But this one will be done next season.
Yeah. And I'm looking at it. I'm like, oh, it looks like they're about in the same spot, and they're playing there next season.
Yeah,
So.
and of course our friends at Las Vegas Lights Football Club cannot be more happy.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, Cashman Field will be theirs and all theirs.
Oh,
So-
that's going to be great. Great for them.
Yeah, but I mean, this is surprising. And if I'm not mistaken, is this the last season that the Mets will be affiliated with?
That's
Las
what I
Vegas?
heard, but
That was been the rumor.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, one of the issues, like when the Dodgers left, was because of the facility.
Yeah.
Because there was no training facility, there wasn't any of the higher end stuff that the Dodgers required for their farm system. And now here we are. Nothing against Cashman Field because that's a great stadium. It's just older stadium.
Right.
It's the same thing when you're talking about the Silver Bowl. Silver Bowl's a great place to watch a game. I mean, it's very intimate.
Yeah. It's just a very old stadium.
It's old.
And unfortunately, the accoutrements are bad. There are high schools that have far better facilities.
Oh, there's no doubt about it.
With regard to locker rooms, even I think from what I understand from the media aspect of it.
Oh, no doubt.
It's antiquated. It's just very old. Plus, it only seats about 35,000.
I think there's been 40,000,
40,000.
maybe for a Grateful Dead concert back in the 90s.
Okay.
Not that I've been there.
Or the last 4th of July show that they had down there. That's about 25,
I'll tell you what,
30 years ago.
My one thing I always remember about the Silver Bowl, I'll never forget this, when they had a Canadian team, I saw a guy kick a 65-yard field goal.
Wow.
And when he lined up for it, I was like, there's no way he's kicking this. But, Vegas has the winds. It's windy.
Oh, yeah.
There was a little bit of a tailwind. And well, first of all, he lined up on the other side of the 50,
Right.
which you don't normally see because of the end zone.
Yeah, it's
Now, imagine this. The goalposts are on the goal line.
Yeah.
Right? So he's like 10 yards on the other side of the 50-yard line.
Yes.
So when he kicked
pretty
it, I was
bizarre.
like, that's got a chance. That's got a chance. That's got a chance. And then he made it. I was like, wow, that would be an NFL record, obviously.
Yes, it would.
But it's not a Canadian record. I think it's 67 yards.
67 is a Canadian?
Is a Canadian record.
Yeah, that's
So
I don't care who's kicking it. That's a poke.
Yeah, so I was amazed by that. This was way back, I think, the first run at the Outlaws, because that team was also called the Outlaws. And then we have, of course, the AFL debacle called the Outlaws. But we won't throw any more mud at that one.
Digress.
But so I agree. I think the Braves are doing really well. I have something. I always look at certain things when I see teams that get new stadiums. I almost kind of feel like that should be like a little clue that we should put a little bit of money on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I'm not saying that anything's fixed. Okay.
But
I've been watching sports a long time. Whenever there's a new team like the Golden Knights,
right,
the Golden Knights crushed attendance records.
Yeah.
I mean, every single game there was more people, standing room only. Just completely insane.
New franchise, you name it, they broke the record.
So they haven't issued the season tickets yet, the prices. But I guarantee as soon as that happens, they will immediately be selling these like hotcakes.
Oh, yeah.
but they've already anticipated anywhere from a 20 to 30% increase.
Ouch.
So those tickets that cost you $6,000 will now cost you roughly $8,000 for the season. So there's money in that, basically. There's money in a team doing well. So
in a new facility.
You're talking first year at T-Mobile. You're talking now you have the Braves in their new stadium.
Yeah.
You got LA's teams are coming up. You have an Oakland team that's going to be coming up.
Yeah.
Just a thought. But hey, I did see the Rams are actually going down as far as to win the Super Bowl. I think they're right around 3-1 now.
Honestly, I'm surprised it's really the odds are that strong. I think the Rams are going to be a great team.
Yep.
And with the exception of one of our guests, I just don't see them winning the Super Bowl next year. I see them absolutely going deep in the playoffs. They may even get to the NFC Championship game, but I don't think they have enough to take it to that next level.
So have you been to the StubHub Center?
Yeah.
You have?
I used to go to watch.
To soccer, though?
Yeah.
For a football game? You used to watch a football game?
Yeah, because that's usually where they also still have CIF playoff games.
Oh, okay.
For high schools.
Yep.
Yeah, so, it's a great place to watch a soccer match, even better to watch a football game.
Oh, I bet. Was it less than 30,000 people, right?
Yeah, so every seat is a great seat, and it's easy to get in and out of there in terms of your seats, facilities, park, to get in there.
That's Carson, right?
That's in
Carson.
Carson.
Yeah, not too far off the freeway. That makes it a lot easier.
Oh, yeah, so, and to both freeways, which are key arteries there, the 91 and the 405, you're literally within minutes of. But you just don't have that many people going, so traffic, of course, is easy to navigate.
Yeah, 25,000 people. It's much different than 80,000 people.
Then it's then you're gonna have to start thinking, all right, what's our strategy here?
Yeah.
Let's break out some food.
Well, I've been to obviously a lot of Michigan games. I'm sure you've been to a few Rose Bowls.
Oh yeah.
The Rose Bowls aren't fun to get out of.
Nope. Great to get there. Great game. You hope.
Right.
Absolutely dreadful. I don't care whether you win, lose, or draw. Just terrible to get.
Well, I can tell you this: the last time that I was there, we started the barbecue back up after the game.
Yeah.
We waited about 45 minutes. We cooked ourselves some dinner.
Yeah.
And then left after that. We didn't have too much issues. But when I see people, the funny thing is, it's almost like you see the people getting on the freeway, and that you finished eating and maybe had another beer or two, and then leaving, and you're still getting on the road about the same time as them.
Yeah, it's
the freeway part.
I
anyway.
don't understand why people think they've got to just
hurry up.
Yeah, and get over there. There's a lot of really great restaurants in Pasadena.
Yep.
So some absolutely within walking distance of the Rose Bowl, which is in a beautiful neighborhood, by the way. But just I don't know what the big deal is, folks. Just grab yourself, set aside some extra food, even throw it in a cooler, and then just chill and kick back and eat. And nobody's rushing you to get out of there. Unfortunately, Dodger Stadium, at a certain point, we usually just kick back, pull out a couple of chairs and sit there. At some point, they're going to come and ask you, like, folks, you need to leave. and like, oh, okay, no problem. But yet, in Pasadena Rose Bowl, everybody gets it. It's a nightmare to get, in and out of the place.
So speaking of the Rose Bowl, and we'll just go one quick shout out before we go on break. Bo Taylor, friend of the show.
Yeah.
Bishop Gorman Lineham signs with USC, commits 100% to UCLA. I'm sorry. He almost had heart attack.
I know that was a dig. That was strategic. Bo, you know where you're going.
Yeah.
It's a little further northwest.
Yeah. Dude, when I saw that he signed with UCLA, a couple of emotions. Obviously,
when I saw your
Michigan's
text, I almost drove off the road. Yeah.
Michigan's off the table, but they're going to pick up a great young man, a great lineman. I'm sure that Dorian's going to be happy to have his guy there after next season. So I'm really looking forward to this high school season. I was looking at the players, I'm looking at the rankings, and there's some really good young players. And I'm hoping to get Coach Morocco in the next week or so.
That'd be fantastic.
Or next couple of weeks
Liberty's
on the show.
Head honcho.
Yeah, and talk to him about Jaden King, his newfound running back.
Yeah.
That I think is going to do really well behind that huge offensive line of Liberty.
And and again, thanks to Coach Isola and AJ Andrews, his defensive coordinator, for joining us last week. And we're trying to get these coaches on because we know, as he mentioned, the season's starting early. I think Coach mentioned August 15th.
Yep.
Friday night. That's their first game. And here August 15th. It's going to be pretty toasty out there.
It'll still be 100
best thing
at
that could
night.
happen is just the sun going down.
Yep.
All right, so listen, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to hopefully be joined by our man in the ATL, Torrance Hall, to discuss NBA basketball. Not that anything special has been going on the last couple of weeks, but give us a few minutes. Southern Nevada Sports News coming to you from WWDBTV.com. We'll be right back.
The golf store you've been waiting for is now open. Bob Allen Golf is ready to help you take your game to the next level. Bob Allen Golf is located at 6415 South Fort Apache, Las Vegas 89148. Choose your favorite clubs from our selection of Bridgestone, Callaway, Cleveland, XXIO, Srixon, Ping, Wilson, and more. We'll custom fit them in our state-of-the-art full-swing golf simulator. Come hang out with us and practice on our putting green to find out which club is perfect for you. Have your clubs repaired, reshafted, and regripped in our on-site tour shop. And talk about accessories. Guys and gals will feel comfortable and look sharp in the many sizes, colors, and options of apparel from Greg Norman, Black Clover, Under Armour, and more. The team at Bob Allen Golf takes your game as seriously as you do. Join our online family at boballengolf.com and stop in the store to meet us. Remember, at Bob Allen Golf, your game is in the bag.
All right, we are back for round two. Southern Nevada Sports News coming to you from WWDBTV.com. My name is Bill Miller, co-host along with
Jeff Belknap.
And as promised, we have with us, joining us from Atlanta, the ATL, our NBA prognosticator, Mr. Torrance Hall. How you doing, Torrance?
How y'all doing out there today in Vegas today?
Man, I tell you, it's a little toasty, surprisingly. And but at the same time, nice to have a day off in the middle of the week. Kind of breaks up the week.
Oh, beautiful.
Yes, indeed. I feel the same here, man. I'm enjoying the day off myself, waiting for later on festivities.
Oh, man. Well, look, first of all, we're glad you could join us because I'm sure, you were probably looking to see, well, let me knock this out and then I can go on and go about my business.
Most definitely.
Well, needless to say, we are knee-deep in NBA free agency.
Woo!
Yeah. And, of course, the big fish himself has been landed. And I believe me, I've been talking over the last weeks. I just said there's just no way the Lakers were going to get LeBron. And people kept telling me, well, and then, of course, his son enrolled in that particular, academy. And then, of course, he has businesses out there as well. But still, I just thought that this was not going to be, the landing spot. I just kept thinking Houston because of the players that they already had, in the stable. But Sunday I was flipping around channels, and this kind of was on ESPN because they were going to rebroadcast the Formula One race from Austria. And it's breaking news, LeBron signs. I'm going, oh, God, please don't tell me it's the Celtics. Kept reading, I was like, what the? And then my phone just started kind of going crazy, and I
Right.
I got the text from you, the wow text.
yeah, that was the only thing I think. Then I got a little creative. I don't post very many things on Facebook. Yeah. Because I just simply forget sometimes I have it. Well, I forget a lot I have it. I'm sorry.
It's good. But that means your life is actually good because you're not looking at the Facebook to try to figure it out.
So I just posted, time for Laker haters to get that work back in.
I love that, right? That post.
I just said, because it kind of left the Lakers alone because they've been, cellar dwellers for the last several years. And it was the only thing that kind of came to mind.
Well, for anyone that follows my social media, which is SN Sports News is one of them, but then my personal social media as well, saw the picture of a hand coming out of a grave. And it basically implying that those are the Laker fans, like they're back from the dead.
Oh my goodness! Right, I've seen that.
I am a huge Laker hater, and I'm not a LeBron hater, so this is a challenge for me because I really do like LeBron as a player, and I've never.
I do too.
You haven't never heard me badmouth LeBron. I think he's great. The money he's poured. Well, I'm sorry. The money that he's put in the community.
Yeah. Yeah, back in Akron and in Cleveland, and
Yeah, I mean, what he has done for the organization, and I did hear one unique thing, that Ty Lue was named head coach again.
Okay.
Of who?
Of the Cavaliers.
Yeah. Oh,
he wasn't the head coach because that was LeBron before. Now he's the head coach again.
Sorry, man, that one just sailed right over my head. I'm sorry, Jeff. I should have picked up on that, but I just completely. Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway. So
reinstated.
So this is I'm gonna throw this out there. I want both of your guys' opinion on this. Okay. Who is better? The Cavaliers, with the whole team that they have, minus LeBron James, or the Lakers of last year?
Cavaliers.
Right. So, and now with LeBron James, they're a much better team, correct?
Yes.
So what makes you think that when LeBron James goes to the Lakers that they're all of a sudden going to be a contender for the championship?
Yeah, okay, let me get one thing straight. I have not projected any championship for this team in the next year, possibly not even in the next 2. They will be in the finals, possibly in 2, definitely in 3. This is the reason why he signed a 4-year deal. If it were a 1-year deal, I would be saying like, they're trying to sell some tickets, put up maybe 48, 50 wins, and then move on about their business to the next one. But no, this is a 4-year deal, and this is a young Laker team, but this is only the first week of free agency. Trade deadline is not until January.
Right.
Yeah. So there's a lot of time for them to build around there. Plus, what LeBron does is LeBron makes the people around him very, very much better. They immediately, first of all, he's going to demand of them the same thing they're going to demand of him. And nobody demands more of him than LeBron. But at the same time, he holds people accountable. You suddenly have, and we're only talking about a guy who's like, is he 33 or 34?
About that, I'm not sure.
I mean, it seemed like he's been around forever, but he came in right out of high school.
Yep.
But you now have this larger-than-life figure who has been to the finals 8 straight times. I think the streak is going to end next season. But 8 straight times to the finals. This is a guy who, he just gets the best out of those around him. Yeah. And I think landing, Rondo,
it's going to help.
It's going to help.
But you're talking about Rondo at the end of his career.
Yeah, this isn't Rondo at Boston. This is Rondo who sometimes you think you need 2 basketballs.
Yeah. And 2 knee braces.
Yeah, 2 knees as well.
And a crutch.
But, again, it's not going to all be on him either.
True.
So I think that, they're going to be absolutely a much better team. And it's just going to be much tougher in the West when you have to deal with this guy all the damn time.
Well, it's not only that, but, how about the flip side of that, which is him being in the West and having to play teams like OKC, that's a playoff team, in Houston, in Utah, in Golden State.
Yeah,
you got to play these teams more often when you're in their division.
Yes,
so I mean, is that going to weigh upon him? I mean, because it's going to basically be a daily battle. Which I'm not saying it wasn't a daily battle in Cleveland. I'm saying the competition in the West is so much better.
Oh, absolutely. It's going to be tougher. You're going to have to go ahead, Torrance.
I would say he could possibly be playing just piggyback what he just said. That's like playing the top 5, 10 players, maybe the top 5 at least, night in, night out. Maybe in a 6-game streak, you might say Damian Lillard, Anthony Davis, Durant, and Steph Curry. Then you might go to San Antonio, and it's just a lot of, like you're saying, a lot of good teams. Then you may have to play OKC, and you got to run with them. So it's going to be a lot tougher than playing in the East versus playing like Orlando, Charlotte, something like that. A few nights, getting those 2 nights off, and take off playing Brooklyn. Over there, everybody's tough. Utah's tough. Minnesota's tough. Houston, it's so many. So he's going to have to definitely have his hands full night in, night out over there.
Absolutely. So, you mentioned the Spurs.
Yeah.
So Bill and I were talking on the break about the potential Kawhi trade and what the Spurs proposed. Did you see that trade, Torrance?
I think I've seen one of talking about Kuzma and Ingram and 3 draft picks.
Yeah, 4 draft picks actually.
Oh, 4. Okay, 4 draft picks.
So they're talking about 6 players for Kawhi. Kawhi would honestly make a huge impact. I mean, when you're talking, Cousins obviously jumps right in the day after free agency and signs the 1-year deal with the Warriors.
Right. That was secure. That was insurance.
I mean, you just secured the middle of your team at that point, you know,
Right.
and you already have a 7-footer that plays like a point guard, and then you're going to put another guy out there that scores 25 points a game.
If he can, you know, just not disintegrate.
Right.
You know, he now has to accept a backup role. Now,
Right.
he's not going to a team where immediately he's in the starting lineup.
Yeah.
And I just don't know. You know, you start juggling a lot of egos. You know, Kerr has been able to do it with the team he has because I think all those guys were focused on one thing.
Yeah.
You know, Cousins is a known hothead.
That's true.
Okay, he's tough to manage. You know, so it's going to be either that daily conversation between the GM and his agent and the coach to try and settle down. But I think at a certain point, this cat's not going to be comfortable coming off the bench and, you know, playing these bit roles, and then when crunch time comes around, not even being on the court at all.
I think
he'll get a lot of playing time around crunch time. I think that'll be his promise. You know, his ultimate thing is get your body conditioned for the playoffs and the late of the season. Because I think early in the season they're going to have the young guys in there, Bell and Looney, to do their thing. But when it comes down to crunch time, you will need his presence around. So if he acts right, like you said, that's a big thing. If he acts right, has a good attitude, him and Draymond Green don't have no locker room feuds, then it could work for a year. Plus he's trying to get a contract somewhere, so he definitely will have to keep a cool head.
Yeah. Well, this is what I see. I mean, especially when you have an NBA season that's, you know, 82 games. You know, you need these guys fresh as possible when you get to the playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if you look at the lineup on Golden State, that's a 60-win lineup, like easy.
Easy.
You know?
Easy.
The difference between that and a Laker team that everyone's going to have to ball out every night to win 50 games. You know, I mean, I don't know what their over-under is. I hope that they make it really high because I'll definitely take the under. But when I look at it, I mean, immediately everyone's impulse is, oh, man, they're going to win 60 games. They're going to go deep in the playoffs. And I'm like,
I don't think so.
They're really a young team.
This is a young team, and this is, you know, they're going to be a much better team.
Right.
Much better team. But I don't think they're going to be able to go necessarily that deep in the playoffs unless, again, we find out what these added pieces are to the puzzle.
Sure, which I'm sure there's going to be somebody.
Yeah.
Right.
What about Atlanta? What's Atlanta doing? Did they?
Hey, you know we tanked to ride that Titanic again, man. We got a lot of good prospects down here right now, man. You know, we got that little young Steph Curry protege coming in himself eventually. You know, so he'll do what he can do. And Spellman, he's like a little baby Draymond. And what's the guy from what's his name? Hooter, Kevin. I think it's Kevin. Hooter, I never really heard of him like that, but I've seen some of his highlights, and he looked pretty good.
Nice. Well, I can tell you Detroit's probably going to be a 500 team again, if that, you know.
Think so?
We always think that they're going to be something better. They are shifting around. They got a new coach.
Yeah.
You know, Dumars is still there, so that's still probably a little problem. I mean, he doesn't ever go after anyone big since they won those. They were in that championship.
Are you trying to save money, or
I don't know what he's trying to do. Maybe he's waiting for that guy that's like in elementary school playing. You know, he's already planning it out.
But my goodness.
But what I'm thinking is, like, you got at some point you got to step up and really go after a free agent that's big. You know, they get these guys that are coming in. I think personally the trade to get Blake was a waste. You know, I mean, I don't think that they got the good end of the deal, and you got a player that's like at the end of his basically career.
Yeah.
And then you're going to like trade away all your talent for that. I mean, what for? You know, I don't understand that.
Yeah, is he under some sort of, you know, financial constraints in
I don't
that
think so.
organization?
I mean, he's got. I mean, he pays Monroe a lot of money, but you know, aside from that, I mean, these guys are, you know, pretty, you know, standard contracts.
I mean, this is a historic franchise,
right?
But you know, when you mention the East, you just don't mention Detroit. Isn't the first team that pops up, you know, in your head?
With LeBron gone, Philly. I mean, if you were a millionaire, let's just throw that out there. You could easily lay several $1 million that the Philly's going to win the East, and just wait for just stand literally at the window.
You think so?
The whole time.
Really?
Absolutely.
I think Boston's going to beat. I think Boston beat Philly.
I think they're going to be the two
Hayward
tough
coming back,
teams. Yeah.
I think that's going to be a huge thing. I think Philly's is going to put it together and really gel this year.
Oh,
I mean, I think they
were
played
babies
together last year.
I mean, they were
real
youngsters.
They were babies.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but I think that they're obviously going to be the new the newest beast in the East. You're going to have Boston, and then I'm sure after that party settled down in Toronto, they realized they don't no longer have to worry about LeBron beating them senseless in the playoffs. Toronto is going to be again a tough team, but I think they're going to just be overshadowed by this seemingly curse that they got exactly what they wanted. They had the best record last year. Even having to deal with LeBron during the regular season, they still have the best record in the East. So I don't think that that's going to change. They're going to have a new coach, so they're going to bring in a new system. But I think that the top three teams are going to be, not necessarily in this order, but Philly, Boston, and Toronto. And of course, you got Washington D.C. was a much improved team. The Pacers were a better team. It's going to be probably a bit more balanced East, but not the old East where you had like maybe 3 teams, 4 teams, and then a bunch of teams scrambling to make the last 5 playoff spots, all with losing records.
So did they make a decision? Did Silver make a decision to realign the playoff system based upon records?
Not that I know of. No, I think that would have been earth-shattering news. I mean, it's all on the same line as LeBron signing with the Lakers.
Yeah,
that is because that has the potential to be a real downside because of where teams finish, and the strength of the conferences themselves. So, you might think you've actually won something and then turn around and look at your opponent and go, Jesus Christ, what did we win?
Yeah.
FIFA, bizarre as this may sound, the World Cup hasn't quite figured out the whole idea of seeding people.
Right.
So you actually had the match between Belgium and England where they were trying not to necessarily win.
Yeah.
Because it would have made sense for the loser actually to get a better seed. So it's not necessarily an exact science. To me, I like the idea of seeding. I think it works great. And but I think that it may lose something with regard to regional appeal and those some of those rivalries that exist.
Yeah.
Well, the team that'll probably win is a team that don't care where they're seated.
Just you jumped on soccer there just for a second.
Yeah.
I'm going to switch gears and go to tennis because you spoke about seeding and immediately popped in my head.
Yeah.
Wimbledon this week.
Yep.
They seed Serena Williams 25.
Yeah.
She comes through and just mows through her first opponents. Today she won 6-1, 6-4. I mean, how can you potentially? I understand you're out of the game and there's probably some sort of method, but how do you take the number one player, goes out and has a baby and whatnot, comes back and thinking that she's going to be the 25 seed?
I have no idea.
Right, and even had it ranked.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's like top 10. I mean she's got to be a minimum of a top 10.
I would think
at some point.
Right.
Particularly in majors.
Yeah.
But British have their own way of doing things, and they think that
they probably try to.
Yeah,
maybe it was a psychological seeding.
Yeah.
Yeah. I give it to Serena Williams, man. She looks great. She looks very healthy.
Yeah.
I watched her play. Just a few minutes in the highlights and everything in the last match, and she's getting around on just like. Back in rare form.
It's strange. I mean, again, this is about gender. This is just simply about an elite athlete who takes time off because she's pregnant. We don't normally talk about that with regard to elite athletes because we're generally thinking in terms of men. It would be the equivalent of Kevin Durant saying, "I got to take a few months off because my wife's pregnant." I'll be back in 4 months or so. We would be like, what? Huh? Who? Yeah. But she got, bless her. I mean, she's come back. She's certainly swinging a racket, but I think it's a 25th seed.
Yeah. That's a little low.
Yeah, it's a little
So
strange.
Speaking a little bit further on female athletes, WNBA, the Aces, have a game tomorrow at the Mandalay Bay for the veterans. Veterans get in free. They go to vettix.com or vettix.org.
Very cool.
Get a free ticket. All you have to do is show your ID and then prove that you go. I love that.
I do too. Hats off to the Aces.
And then Asia Wilson, rookie, dominating this year. Obviously, the voting and everything is going to be coming up for the All-Star game. So I think they're doing it on Twitter, which is very unique. So you can vote on Twitter just by putting the player's name on Twitter with the hashtag NBA vote or WNBA vote. And
like
literally
that.
get a vote.
That's, to me,
very
that's
unique way to do it.
Very innovative, and again, the WNBA sometimes kind of gets a bad rap, because of the unfortunately poor ratings and sometimes poor attendance. But they are doing some very innovative things, and hats off to the Las Vegas Aces.
Yep.
Anything that we can do to support our vets, and the day after, the 4th of July Independence Day, I think it's a great idea.
Okay, so Torrance, the Summer League's in town. I closed the window, unfortunately. So Bill and I were talking about when the NBA Summer League first came. First of all 30 teams in attendance this year, first time.
Yep.
The tickets, when you used to be able to buy a day ticket, it was like $7 or $10, and you could go watch like seven or 8 games at least.
Yeah.
These games are a little bit shorter. They're not full games, but they kind of run, and then they clear the court, and then a few minutes later, another game starts.
And they're in 2 arenas that are right next to each other. So they were right connected with each other. So there was always a game going on.
Today, Bill and I are looking at tickets, $38 for the day ticket. The court size ticket's $450.
Inflation.
And no, they're not inflation, man. People are noticing that what's going on here, and this is what I ultimately think. I think ultimately what they're doing is they're grooming Las Vegas for an NBA team. These events keep getting bigger. They're kind of getting the people used to paying $100, for a ticket. Yeah. And where we'll be like, oh, $40, that's a deal.
That's such a deal.
Yeah. But really, I'm just thinking to myself, man, how much money are these guys making to be selling these tickets? And some of these games are going to be sold out. Well, when the Lakers play,
oh yeah,
the games are going to be sold out.
Absolutely, and I tell you, having gone several years ago, and that was the last time I went. Yeah, it's an absolute blast. It's you can usually get a decent seat because they're general admission tickets.
That's right.
So you can first come, first serve, other than the courtside seats.
Yeah, and if you got to knock a couple kids out of the way to get a better seat,
hey, do what you got to do.
It's all sport.
You got to do what you got to do.
Plus, you run into these teams. They're staff.
Right.
GMs, coaches, the head coaches sometimes drop in, but usually you see assistant coaches actually doing that. But you see the scouting staff. The players themselves, are open to signing autographs.
Well, the last time you were there, you signed a couple autographs, right?
Yes, it was so bizarre. I went to a Laker. I wanted to go absolutely see the Lakers, but I had a Laker polo on, and I went down there. And this was after Dallas, I think, had won. Yeah. And so I just decided to kind of sit up higher and higher to kind of get a good look. And I just kept noticing there were a bunch of guys around me with polos. And I realized, holy shit, I think this is staff. It's just like, wow, this is pretty. So then a couple of guys came down and go, hey, how you guys looking this year? And I just said, well, I sure hope they do well. He goes, well, good luck, man. And then people were looking around. Next thing you know, I'm getting the lineup changes from people that work at the arena. Here you go, sir. This is the new lineup, and and I'm just kind of sitting there, and then people are walking around and going hey, man, how you doing? I'm going, I'm fine. Yeah, how about you? I had an absolute blast. Awesome. It was so much fun, and but I tell you, man, oh man, Torrance, listen, man, we are just about out of time, and we want to absolutely we want you to get to your barbecuing and cutting up in general.
Indeed.
Please, needless to say hi to your family for us, and thank you as always, man, for taking the time to join us.
Absolutely.
No problem.
Torrance, you guys are all in my prayers and mine and Kim's prayers as well.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. I greatly appreciate it. And y'all enjoy y'all 4th also. Eat lots of food, drink and be merry, and enjoy yourselves. And y'all see us soon, Vegas. We'll be out there.
Oh, look out.
All right, man. That's what we're talking about.
Look out.
All right.
All right. Well, y'all enjoy the rest of your day.
All right, brother. Be good.
Take care now.
All right. Peace.
Our man in the ATL, Torrance Hall. Well, folks, it's been a great show as always. Always good to be with friends and talking to some of our long-distance buddies and friends. Join us next Wednesday, at 6 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time for another installment of Southern Nevada Sports News coming to you from WWDBTV.com. Have a great day and have a great week.
God bless.